Prince Harry drew backlash over career advice he gave in a throwback interview before his recent burnout comments, as a columnist said, "We don't all have the luxury of leaving a job." The Duke of Sussex, 37, and his wife Meghan Markle, 40, famously stepped back from their roles in the royal family. Since then, Harry has raised eyebrows by saying he suffered from burnout, a term given to feelings of physical, mental and emotional exhaustion. The Duke revealed how he takes care of his own mental health during a conversation hosted by BetterUp last week. Harry was appointed Chief Impact Officer at the professional coaching and mental health firm last year. He discussed balancing work and mental health as he took part in the Inner Workday event alongside tennis star Serena Williams and BetterUp CEO Alexi Robichaux. The Duke said, "I, similar to you Alexi, experienced burnout and throughout that burnout literally getting to the very end of everything I had. Any fuel, any steam in the engine, just was like I am burning candles at both ends, it was like, boom." The comments drew a mixed reception, with commentator Dominique Samuels writing on Twitter, "Does Prince Harry realize how deluded and privileged he sounds?" Other social media users backed the Duke however, including LC87 Archie, who said, "People commenting when they have zero insight into Harry's day-to-day life." Harry previously drew criticism over his comments about work, including from Victoria Richards, The Independent's Voices editor. In December she wrote, "I agree that life is short, and that you should seriously rethink any job that negatively impacts your mental health." However, she also added, "We don't all have the luxury of making the decision Harry made." The journalist was reacting to an interview Harry had given to American business magazine Fast Company earlier that month. The Duke's Q&A with the publication was timed to coincide with his new appointment at BetterUp. The royal suggested that a wave of resignation sparked by the COVID pandemic wasn't necessarily a bad thing, as some people may now be prioritizing their mental health more than their career. Harry said, "I've actually discovered recently, courtesy of a chat with BetterUp Science Board member, Adam Grant, that a lot of the job resignations you mention aren't all bad. In fact, it is a sign that with self-awareness comes the need for change. Many people around the world have been stuck in jobs that didn't bring them joy, and now they're putting their mental health and happiness first. This is something to be celebrated." Harry's comments came after a year in which his grandmother the Queen confirmed that he and Meghan would not return to the royal family as working royals. The couple announced their intentions to step back from their royal roles and work to become financially independent the previous year. However, Harry's comments about job resignations touched a nerve for many, including Ms. Richards. She said, "Let's get real, he's never going to know what it is to really struggle for money, and it is a privilege to be able to choose whether or not your job serves and nourishes you." Twitter users also weighed in with their own takes on Harry's remarks. Gemma's in London said, "Oh, the irony of Prince Harry saying you should quit your job if it is making you unhappy." As someone who walked away from his position as a senior working member of the royal family to be the Chief Impact Officer of BetterUp, a coaching and mental health company, Prince Harry knows a thing or two about taking care of the mind. But that doesn't mean he's always good at it. Like most of us, the busy husband and dad of two sometimes struggles to balance self-care in daily life, but he knows taking time for himself is essential to avoiding burnout, that pesky thing we know all too well. For BetterUp's Inner Workday, Harry teamed up with pro athlete Serena Williams to discuss self-care, and the ways they practice it. "The self-care is the first thing that drops away. I'm happy to admit that, as a husband, as a dad," he told Williams, per People. But he tries to be adamant about giving himself at least 30, ideally 45 minutes every day. "One of the kids has gone to school. The other one's taking a nap. There's a break in our program," he said. "It's like, right, it's either for workout, take the dog for a walk, get out in nature, maybe meditate." These acts of self-compassion and reflection don't have to be grand gestures, they can be small and brief. "Simply showing up for yourself," Harry said, "is the most important part." In his opinion, it should be just as much of a daily habit as brushing your teeth, to which Williams replied, "I got a little work to do." Mental fitness is the pinnacle, it's what you're aiming for, and the road towards that is. "It can be really bumpy," Harry said in a clip shared by BetterUp on Twitter. "It's called inner work for a reason, and I think that immediately might put some people off, going, 'More work?' It's like, why?" But the outer work becomes so much easier once you get to grips with the inner work.